Apologies, please.
Apologies from Councillor Walker, who is ill, Councillor Bosenworth, who has family commitments, and Councillor Wright, who is ill. I've had no apologies from Councillor Roderick.
Item 2. The Council to receive any declaration of interest in accordance with requirements of the Localism Act 2011 and to consider any applications for dispensation in relation to disclosure, procurement interests or personal interests. Any?
Should we have accepted the apology? Sorry, Jeff.
Should have, sorry.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm accepting the apology.
That would be a message, tonight.
Yeah. Okay, Jeff.
Declaration of interest, which I just read out. Well, just let us know if it is as we will see through the agenda. Public. Well, we don't have any here, so we'll skip item 3. Item 4, budget 2019-2020. The Council to consider the budget report including the preset for 2019-2020. I hope you have had all the opportunity to review the report and I open the matter for discussion.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I'm sure every member here this evening will have read it thoroughly, Chair, and it's a whole thinking. So it'll make my job a little bit easier this evening. So after several hours with the RFO one morning reviewing the budget, and several more hours with the F&G Peace Committee, I think we've come up with a good budget, a robust budget, which should see the Council through the coming financial year. I would personally like to thank the RFO, the rest of the admin team, and also the F&GP for their outstanding work in producing the budget for 2019-20. If any members are unfamiliar with the spreadsheet, you'll see that the income is on the left and the expenditure on the right, unless you've got a different sheet to me. You've got one on the back and one on the front. So you've got income there and expenditure. If I may just firstly draw your attention to the current budget, which is the second figure in from the right at the bottom, you'll see an income, a present income of £217,228, yeah? Right at the bottom, it should be the second amount from the right.
Can I just check something, because both my side say expenditure?
Yes.
I'm mine.
Yeah, I do, that's why we probably can't find it.
Which is that the same?
Can I just have 2 seconds?
I saw you looking at me there, so I don't know if you should be a bit daft tonight. I think, no, you can't see it.
You're saying thing on both sides.
So we're all saying that, not just me.
Just talk amongst yourselves then.
Yeah.
David's gone now, we get some coffees. Tell him Murray was not here.
Oh, Maureen, yes, you've been off today.
Yeah. Off all week.
What were you saying, Jackie, about being quick?
That what?
What were you saying about being quick?
I know, yeah. Sorry. This is the same that's on here though, isn't it? This is the same. That was read, that you...
I asked him to print it, each member a copy out. Because it's quite difficult.
It is, oh, absolutely. I'm trying to make it bigger and then I'm losing where I'm going. And
You make it up here and you can't read it.
Yeah.
You went on to the solicitor from Bob Roman. Good.
accepted, yes. Yeah. Well, 158,000. This is over 25. We don't have to have Scarborough Borough Council's acknowledgement's one thing, but they're okay for the budget that Farley Town Council sets?
No.
No. It's just a matter of course that we send.
Scarborough Borough Council sends us what we call a preset calculator.
Yes.
Which shows A, B, C, D, rated houses and the effect that the increase has on those bands.
Then we have to tell them what the preset is, and then they can put it on the tax bills, or council tax, for the residents.
Does the holiday homes get second tax, or do they don't just holiday homes? Do they get tax as
No,
well?
I think we just pay 100% now.
Just 100%. I'm not 100% sure.
There was talk about putting a higher band
Yes.
on, but I don't think FTC would get any of that anyway.
No.
I think the borough would take all that. Well, I'm sure they would. Thank you, David.
Well, they need all the money for the alcohol, don't they?
They're blaming the winter season out for the downturn.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, sorry, it's not into it.
No.
Oh, right. Thank you. Right. Do you know what John's talking about now?
Right, back to Council Shackleton.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'd like to draw your attention to the current budget. So you should have an income and an expenditure now for the and so the second figure in from the right on income you should have £217,228, yeah?
Yeah.
And if you look at the expenditure one, it's currently at 225,000, so at the moment we're 8,500 over budget at the present moment. This is almost certainly down to the extra staffing cost, which wasn't particularly well budgeted for in this year, or it wasn't budgeted for at all, I don't think, was it? And of course with 2 clerks at the time, and extra training, etc. So that's basically why we're running over it.
And the cost of the drainage for Queen Street Gardens.
Yes, of course, yeah.
And 2 violations, 1 violation.
So hopefully in the new budget we have all the bases covered, well hopefully, and we'll keep within the projected figures, hopefully. Please note projected figures for the end of year figures are a best guess, they're not a forecast or prediction. As you see, projected income of £224,639. In this amount, I'm on about next year's budget now, here, okay? We can only really rely on the precept, and which I'll come on to later, and also the model agreement figures and a few lesser amounts for certain. Other headings are based on previous figures, so it is really a best guess. On the income, one heading I'd like to highlight is the impact of the £10,000 in commemorative seats, which is about halfway down the income, and it should be highlighted in orange for you. Well, it's commemorative seats, we put £10,000 income in that budget. I think we're all aware that fire is a wash receipt, particularly in the town with the seafront. So the deputy chair of property is to take some ideas of sightings to the next, or possible sightings to the next property committee. I think we are going to have to rely on this income, for the scenes. Moving on to expenditure, you see that it's projected to be 224,639.83, which is the same. In draft one, which we received at the F&G meeting, this figure was far greater, which meant a huge increase in the precept requirement. The committee decided that this was really unacceptable for such a large increase. So with the inclusion of 16,000 for a dog warden having an impact on the precept as well, the committee made the decision to reduce the staffing budget, which you'll see is quite a lot higher this year, and that's purely down to, again, a new member of staff coming in. We've been looking for a while. I'm quite happy to answer any questions later, please. We have been looking for a while with Maureen because we've not been paying any pension for Maureen. So there will be a pension for the new member of staff as well. So that's the reason for staffing to be quite high. It was actually over £12,000 greater. So F&G made the decision to reduce the staffing budget by £12,000. Unfortunately, this means that there is no budget for a new member of staff this year or next year, i.e. the receptionist. The RFO had also, I think, inadvertently included £6,000 for bunting for this year, which was also removed. Capital spend. The council also has a possible capital spend this year out of reserves of £231,000, which, sometimes this council is criticised within and also without for not spending out of our reserves. So we are looking at a possible spend of 231,000. I think we've all got capital reserves. Is it on that sheet?
It's on the report.
Or in the report. So moving on to precepts. For the town council to maintain its level of service, the precept requirement for 1920 is £158,000, which means an increase of 10.5%, which is really unprecedented in this council. I don't think we've ever made such a large increase. But I have explained that that is down to basically two items that we do need to cover the cost for. This means abandoned property will increase by £4.68 to £52.65. So I'm sure that you can see why we've had to reduce some budget headings, because I'm sure that figure would have been almost too low. So I'm quite happy to take any questions, or I'm sure the RFO will be quite happy to.
But to save time, instead of jumping here and jumping there, go around the room, starting on my left.
Thank you.
Council Alderman.
Thank you. You did sort of touch on the question I was going to ask, which was about the new member of staff that we've got starting in February, because I presume that she'll be here for a month. Two months. Right, so there's that to take on board as well. I think that's what I was just basically going to ask you about. I understand about the precept and how that works, and you're thinking about that, and I think you've quite well explained the reasonings of why you've done a lot of it. That's it, thank you.
As I say, most things are best guess apart from the precept.
Just on the staffing front, in terms of the difference this year to last year, when the budget was set this time last year, it was effectively judged that the staff would be permanent and static, whereas we've had effectively 3 months where we've had 4 members of staff, or 5 members of staff rather than 4 members of staff, so it's quite a considerable increase. And as John rightly says, so Councillor Stratford rightly says, that going forward there's a substantial increase in our pension contributions, because currently Maureen doesn't pay, and it's a 19.5% on cost to us. So it is a substantial increase to someone's salary.
Yeah.
Also, just the last thing is that if they were going to do receptionist thing, I was led to believe that was going to be somebody doing the government scheme that they pay for it, you know, the apprenticeship. So that's something we can't no longer do.
Well,
Is that just something else?
But that would be something really
Yeah.
like for the...
Because the apprenticeship, the government gives the money for you to have them, we don't have to pay for them. So if it's something that we want, we could still look at that. That doesn't have to come out of any of our monies at all.
Well, I can only give F&G's opinion that, in their opinion, that was sort of cheap labour.
Oh, I'm just saying if we wanted it, we could have it.
Any employee of the council should be paid after that.
I thought they were paid. I thought they paid us. I thought the government paid the person, paid the group, and then they paid the money out from that. I know it's minimum, like ridiculously low. Two of my sons have been on it, but
It's either you can take it down a number of different routes depending upon the age. It's very age dependent upon the person.
I understand that. But if you
So if
take,
you took in a person who's between 16 and 18, then effectively you could pay nothing, and all they will get is the training.
yes, but I'm also aware that you can offer the government, they will give you 10 to 15,000 for a year for an apprenticeship for you to take them on. But this is just a different debate. I'm just bringing up, this is nothing to do with what we're saying. All I'm saying is that it's an apprenticeship. If we wanted one, we could look into that. But that's completely different to this budget. Thank you.
Right, Councillor Anthony.
Oh, sorry. So, yeah, it's just a shame that we couldn't get the dog warden amount into capital spend, but it's not a capital spend, it's, as it's shown there, it's a service, so it has to go in. Into the budget.
Councillor Anthony.
No, it seems pretty comprehensive to me. Thank
Councillor
you.
Thurston.
No, I've nothing to point out, other than they've done a great job at producing this document.
Councillor Wilkie.
I just wasn't sure, and it might be in this document. I was saying we haven't had any increase in Band D properties this year.
Yes, it's gone up about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, it's,
Is that all?
Yeah,
I thought it wouldn't be many.
it doesn't make it,
That's different. It's gone up to like 2,994 to just over 3,000.
Yeah, I thought it wasn't many, because obviously that has an effect, doesn't it?
but it slowed down for the last number of years.
Yeah, we saw it 1 year, didn't we, with the baby.
Yeah.
Well, we'll look into it.
No, but as I say, it's a good budget.
It is a good budget, and it's, things have got to be paid for, so we've got to make sure that the budget can stand the outgoings we've got. So I just wanted to thank the RFO and anybody else that's produced this document, so it makes it quite clear what we're facing.
Okay.
Councillor Gamble. Councillor Laffey.
No, we had a fairly comprehensive discussion on it. My only fear is that it might only be £4 extra a year. Put that on top of the council's 5%, Scarborough Council's 3%, the fire brigade, the police. You know, it does, to some people, add up to quite a substantial amount on the precept. It's an extra £4, it's not £4. Plus all the others. I would like to justify it. When we're giving 19 grand for a steel cobble, and 16,000 for a dog warden, I'm not convinced now that it'll do one iota of good in this town. I'm sorry, but I'm not here to justify it, to have a vote against it.
I think those two items that Council actually just mentioned come out of different pockets. One comes through the preset and the other comes out of capital spend.
But having said that, if you're taking it from capital, you're not making interest.
No, I
So you've got to put your preset to make the interest that you're losing by spending the capital. That's my point of view.
Anybody else? Back to you.
as far as I'm aware, it's up to now. It might only be £200. It's not. It hasn't been completely done. I thought he was coming back to us, Councillor Cockrell, to say what he needed to make up. We, as a council, said that we would go up to that, but I didn't think it was entirely that amount. Have you not come back yet to anybody to let us know?
As far as I know, he's still working on it.
Oh,
I mean, I asked him the question when he came the last time, was he still actively seeking more sponsorship?
and what did he say? Yes, yes,
He
it
said
was,
yes,
yeah.
he said he's
So we're just waiting for him to...
working for it, yeah.
So if we don't need to spend all that, that can go into something else?
Yeah. I'd just like to go on first from another point that John made about it only being £4. But you can see now why we had to reduce the budget, because it would have pushed it up to 10. And as Council Ashby's already said, that's £10 plus what, you know, the borough put on, the county put on the police and fire service. So it was the reason behind reducing the budget.
Anybody else, any questions? Right, do you have a proposal?
Proposal for this budget, on the budget, into the budget.
I don't think we need to do the three steps separately, because that's in the budget.
Yeah, well, I'll propose.
Proposal, second?
And I'll second it.
One first. Any amendments? All in favour? Unanimous. Moving on, item 5, grants. The council consider and resolve the grants to be provided to organisations, etc. of file. I hope you have had all the opportunity to review the report and open the matter for discussion.
Do you want me to go through the grants, Chair?
Yeah, go ahead.
There's not many we can accept at the moment, one start. There's not many.
If you want to read them on the tablet, they are a bit small.
The first one on the Spider Bay Initiative, we received £275 in 1819, and this, for next year, they've requested, something small, so it's not here, they requested £300, for the purpose of the production of another leaflet. Well, we all know what their leaflets are like. They're very informative, and it's on the aspect of finalist history. F&GP proposed a sum of £300 for this. Are there any questions on that? Are we all in agreement with that amount? Okay.
Yeah, General.
And next one, Father Brigand Wing Society. Last year they were awarded £350. For next year's budget they've asked for £100, and this is a sponsorship prize money which is attached to the Fire Town Cup. And the F&GP proposed a sum of £100. Are we all in favour with that amount? Thank you. Finally, Cricket Club. £500 was awarded in 1819. This year they asked for £2,500. Which was for equipping and training a new under-11s cricket team, including training and 2 extra coaches. F&GP proposed an amount of £800 towards this cost, basically because we thought we couldn't pay for the extra coaches, and so we decided that £800 would go towards buying equipment for the youngsters. Are we all in favour with that amount? Friday Boat Festival, £400 awarded in 1819. We all know what this is, it's a good weekend. The amount requested towards sponsorship of the 3-day Friday Boat Festival 2019, including promotion and advertising. F&GP proposed an amount of £400. Are we all in favour with that figure? Yes. Thank you. Piling in Blue, £300 awarded in 1819. This year they've asked for £700, and this is for work towards to enhance the planting area in front of the stone entry signs into Filey, which will be the 2 stones that we have. What do we propose for that? F&GP proposed £500 for planting and bottles. Are we all in favour with that amount? Valley Flower Club. £100 awarded in 1819, and again this year they asked for £150. The amount requested towards the cost of printing a monthly newsletter and posters, approximately 100 plus newsletters and 30 posters per month. F&GP proposed the amount of £150.
Excuse me, John, are they a profit-making
No.
organisation?
No, not that I'm aware of. Not Farley Flower Club. I think it's, is it Christine Smart that does that? No, they just do displays, don't they, and have guest speaker and what have you. As far as I'm aware, they're not a profit club, they just,
I thought people have to pay to join and everything.
The Flower Club.
well, perhaps they do, but that's not profit making,
No.
is it? That'll go towards other expenses, I would
I'm
think.
just asking the question.
But I don't know, so I can't really answer. Are members in agreement with that amount?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All in favour?
Paddy Lions Club, no application last year, and this year they asked for £1,500. The amount requested towards the purchase of fireworks, and F&GP proposed 750. We're all in favour of that amount? The parish centre at St John's, they did nothing last year according to this. This year they've asked for £500, and this is towards refurbishment of the church hall and providing a modern kitchen, obviously for community use.
I've got a question, sorry.
Throw your vote.
Are we allowed to give money to this? Because when I asked about giving money to St Oswald's, I was told that that wasn't something you could do as a council.
This question has arisen before over the parish hall, because it's for community use.
Oh, okay. So the CCTV isn't a community
Well,
thing?
no, not
No.
really, no. Because many community groups use the parish hall. That's the reasoning behind it. I think we did offer them, I think we did give them something the year before, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
For decoration.
Same question came up then.
Yes, it did. Are all members in agreement with that?
Yeah.
And finally, Family Steam Pub Festival. They've asked for £400 this year, and that's towards the funding of the annual festival. And F&GP penciled in £400. We're all in agreement with that figure?
Well, you can all see that's 3,800.
Yeah. Right, thank you, Chair. Unless there's other questions?
I would just like to ask, sorry,
Yeah, what
could
question?
I ask Councillor Wilkie a question about Farley Football Club? That, you're the chair of that, is that still going?
Not
I know
that
it just says it hasn't had an
No,
application, but...
not that particular one.
Oh, right, okay.
That's Currans Drive,
Oh, you're the other one.
Valley Town Football Club. I'm at the other.
The other one.
But just state on that, Mr Chairman, Andy Micklethwaite, who was one of the coaches, came to me in July or August and broached it. And I said, get applied for a grant at the end of the 31st of October. And I thought it was a brilliant way to put a grant for a deep hill there, because there's lots of kids. We've heard of lots of athletes having problems with hearts, etc., etc. So I said, get the form, get it put in, and the silly buggers have left it. But the rules are 31st of October. I hope they were right to them, Mr Clark.
We contacted them to make sure, well, they asked for a form, so we got the form, we told them when we got the form, please beware that it is got to be in by the 31st
The
of
date is
October.
actually on the form.
It is on the form, it's clearly in bold in the centre of the form.
Is that the one that came 2 weeks late?
Yes.
So I'm gutted about it, really. Anyway, that's their fault, not ours.
So the grants have been passed. Right, moving on. Queen Street Garden signage and fencing. The council to consider and resolve the installation of fencing signage to Queen Street Gardens in order to comply with H&S regulations. Don't say there's no one, David.
As discussed last week, I did have a meeting with the health and safety consultants on Thursday afternoon, and after some discussion, putting the points that Councillor Haxby and Councillor Wilkie put forward to them, their advice was that we needed 3 large signs that effectively were properly affixed to the gates or fences bolted on. These had to be large in yellow with black writing saying no entry, beware dangerous ground, use alternative, no thoroughfare, please use alternative routes. And the areas where we just have the railings at the moment, they suggested that we should infill those with small mesh fencing. We managed to dissuade them from going down the 2 metre high Harris fencing. As we said, this really only was the building site regulations, and this wasn't a building site. And they agreed that what we would be doing is reasonably practical in this situation.
Well, that's good to hear, isn't it? Because now if we follow their guidelines, we're showing due diligence in everything we do.
And I do have a written evidence of their guidance here as well. They did do a very good job for us, and they have, in terms of the fact that we are lacking in health and safety cover, they have put a proposal to us which I'm going to take to the next staffing meeting in terms of looking for that to be a part of our services that we take on board.
I'd just like to thank the clerk. Both Kevin and I were worried it would end up looking like a building site with an arrow fence around it, and we thought that there could be other methods of doing it. And I think this will save us quite a bit of money as well as protecting ourselves with written evidence from HSE that we're doing everything they've asked. So thank you, David, for negotiating that. I think that's a success.
Councillor Wilkie.
Yeah, I'd just like to echo Councillor Axby's comments. You know, my worry was that is such a iconic place and a view. You know, Harris fencing would just be tremendous there. So thank you for going down that road and securing that. But hopefully that'll be enough to keep people out.
Yeah, I've already got a quote for the signs, which will come to approximately £100 for 3 large yellow signs. And I'm awaiting Phil to come in and discuss the installation of the mesh to the fences and the installation of the signage.
Phil Gibson?
Yeah.
Through you, Chair. Sorry, what about the fence at the bottom? David, did you mention anything about the small fence down the steps at the bottom?
The gate is.
The gate.
The gate would require a large sign, and it would need to be infilled.
Yeah.
Exactly the same.
Any more questions?
So we're just waiting for the signs and obviously the fencing.
So that's it. Would you need that? Resolve that at all?
Resolve to go ahead with the HSE's recommendation.
All in favour of that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Item 7, dog warden. Council to consider the alternative option for the dog warden provision as outlined in the email from SPC H. Briggs.
Thought we'd already passed what was going to happen. Would we have to rescind that then?
We wouldn't have to rescind it. We effectively resolved to have a dog warden. What all that Harry is offering is for an alternative method of payment for this, and it also gives the council an opportunity, if the trial is found to be unsuccessful, then we are not duty bound to pay for 12 months. And it also, in Harry's, well, I'll take one step back, giving a summary of what the suggestion is. Rather than employ a dog warden within the Scarborough Borough, or an additional dog warden within the Scarborough Borough scenario of a whole dog warden, the plan would, and that position would only be for a 12-month fixed contract. Rather than going to a 12-month fixed contract, to go to a continuing contract for a replacement half dog warden, but any additional hours that we wanted that dog warden to do, we would pay on an ad hoc hourly basis. That means that the person who we employ is not going to, let's say after 6 months, look for another job because they're going to lose their job after 12 months. And it means that if we are not happy or we don't consider that the trial has been successful, we can stop it at any time and reduce the cost of that to us.
Councillor Wilkie.
Sorry, this on the chair, sir. So does that mean then that if we still have, going down this route that is proposed from Scarborough Council, but we still have the same hours that we were going to have before?
Yes.
It will still cost the same?
There's no additional cost.
No, there's no
It's
less
just
cost though, is there?
No less, well, there is potentially less cost if we do not use all of the hours that we're looking for. If it is proved to be unsuccessful and we don't want to continue with it because we feel it's not worthwhile, then we can stop it at any time. But if we do consider it as successful, we can continue with it for the next 12 months and then relocate it in next year's budget.
No, as I said at the finance meeting, it's not a worry or a concern. I don't know how we measure the success of it. Just by giving tickets out doesn't measure the success. We might only give 2 tickets out, but it's a success because it stops people, or it makes people think about what they're doing because there's a presence there. But how do we measure that unless we go around and look at the areas and, do you know what I mean?
The town's life.
I've had this discussion with Harry with Harry Briggs, and the one thing that we thought about was initially to have a dedicated email address for any concerns that we have. And really the only way we could get a numerical number on was to say, right, in April, May, June, we had an average of 20 complaints, but subsequently we only had 5 complaints a month. It's almost impossible to do it any other way than by a number of complaints. You can't really get an empirical figure on the amount of dog mess there's around.
So you, Chair, having said that though, it could be a great success, but we only have 4 complaints in the whole year.
Yeah.
Because it clears up the problem because people know it's there. But how do we measure that unless we just literally go around and check the areas?
The people of Fiery will tell you whether it's a success or not, because if you go on social media, people are putting on every day where they've seen dog mess. And
That's not difficult to do, is it?
no,
It's all over.
yeah, absolutely.
All I was thinking was about the way that we measure a success or not. I think
Well, less dog mess in town
exactly.
is going to be a measure.
That's what I'm saying. We can't just measure it on the amount of tickets he gives out or the
No,
complaints of.
no.
I'd like to go back to David.
One of the suggested things that we do is publicise this fact in the spring newsletter, informing people that there is an email to give that, that we have got the additional dog warden. There is an email to contact it. We will target those issues at the dog warden to make sure that they are done, and then ask for feedback from that to see what the feedback is from the residents of Fiery.
You've obviously had quite a conversation with Harry, so can you just clarify for me then, please, the difference from what the original proposal is to what this man's offering? I know you've basically said it, and it sounds to me like you're in favour of going with what Harry's saying from how you're talking. But, we did actually vote on this to say to go ahead and have this, so if we do what Harry wants, is that 2.5 days a week in Fiery?
No, that's exactly, we have exactly the same hours as we would have of what we voted for. The only difference is that instead of employing someone for 12 months on a fixed term contract, we would employ someone for half a dog warden on a permanent basis, and we would pay for the additional hours ad hoc by how many hours that they worked.
That's not what I'm understanding.
No.
I'd just like to ask the article, is there also a danger of escalating costs?
No, because they will only work the number of hours that we request them to work.
Is that on top of the 2.5 days that we've put in for?
No.
No.
No, we can ask them for they will provide us exactly the same number of hours that we've already agreed to.
So the whole thing basically, to my mind then, is that instead of putting out a job advert for a year, for somebody that would be applying for a job knowing it's for a year, so they're not applying for a job knowing it's going to be 10 years and cut short to 1. This is just a job that then to go out, that would be part of...
They would go for a permanent part-time role, and the additional hours would be, the additional hours would only be for a year, but they would still be employed after that year rather than being unemployed
But
after
doing
that 12
what, if we don't
months.
find it successful for having a dog warden here for 2.5 days, what would they do with those hours then that we put in for?
They won't have them.
They wouldn't have them, there's additional hours
Right.
to the person's contract.
So we're just having them on an ad hoc basis, so if after a year it's not successful, we say we don't need it
Okay,
anymore.
I'm getting to
But if
understand
we
that.
want it more, we just...
But I don't know why they didn't offer this in the first place.
Well, exactly.
You know, why did we have to go through all this?
Because it won't necessarily be, sorry, through the chair, it won't necessarily be the same hours, it'll be ad hoc hours.
Right.
Extra, they'll be extra to them. So they may not want to work overtime.
It will be, the person will be, the person will be employed in the knowledge that there will be extra hours to work during the first 12 months of their contract.
No, but you can just say no, there's nothing anybody can do then, is there?
Right,
You can tell them, isn't it?
one thing I would
It'll be
point out,
contract, won't it?
Well, that's what...
one thing I want to point out is bullet point 2 of the email. Yes, the proportion of any income from paid FPNs can be deducted from the cost. Well, they're suggesting that we get 75 and they're getting 25. Who's paying for this guy?
We are.
Probably on administration.
Yes.
But you paid them on cost for that 16 grand.
Yeah, that's what they're paying for. Now, that price to me can be built in to what they're saying. I think it should be 100%. I don't know what the rest of you think to bullet point 2.
I agree with you, Chair. I mean, I don't agree with any of it, but I agree with what you just said.
Councillor Wilkie.
How many FPNs have they issued over the last, top 2?
Not many. Not many.
If there was 100, then fine, yeah, but there's been a few.
No, I think you're way out, Councillor.
No, what I mean is,
You might be way out, Chair.
if there is a 100, then yes, I'm 100%, but if there's other 2, fine.
Sorry, Chair.
Councillor Anthony.
I think we're missing the point here, that the way they work in Scarborough is not going to be the same way as they would be working over here. If we get the community involved, and this is what I've said all along, if you get a guy or a woman who will work with the community around where the dog mess is, and people know who's doing it. People go on Facebook and say they know who's doing it. We just need them in the right place at the right time. And unless we work with this person, it's not going to work.
Well, I thought that's what all going to happen.
Well, it was with the original one, but it might not now.
No, it's exactly the same scenario. The idea is that there will be a definite defined email address if anyone wants to contact them. Those emails will be sent back to us, we will get a copy of those, and we will direct the person to wherever the issue may be, and he or she will go there and work accordingly with it.
Shackleton.
Oh, yeah, I forgot what I want to say. I'm just wondering about Facebook and, you know, if the business such things, why not contact the Scarborough about it? I know you can't answer that question, but I'm just, you know, I'm just surprised that, you know, they're quite happy to sit behind the screen and type whatever they want in on Facebook and don't report the matter further.
A lot of people see it through your chair and don't report it.
Councillor Wilkie.
I mean, I've read this a couple of times, and to me, it seems like we're getting the same thing, but it just means there's less risk for us. We could get a better person because they're not going to get, you know, 12 months, it's not really worth it, I'll just do it for a joy. Yes, I agree, they've got to come and work with us and the general public, otherwise it's not going to work. And I think that can still happen within this remit, we're just doing it a different way around. So, I mean, I would propose that we go with this option. But Harris, so, if we can just do it like that, I don't know how we proceed.
Right, I'll just read out run once, then we'll take proposals. Councillor Aldenbrook.
What are you asking me to?
No, we're going to go around the room and then I'll take proposals.
Oh. Well, I still feel the original proposal is the best proposal. Thank you.
Councillor Anthony?
Yeah, well, I think that if we get somebody who's just doing it as overtime or doing a few extra hours, they're not going to put the dedication in as if they were based over here on a more permanent basis, albeit on a 12-month contract. So I would stick with the original proposal.
Councillor Thurston?
I don't think a dog warden's going to make any difference at all.
Councillor Wilkie?
I'll say that.
Councillor Gamble?
Well, I missed the last meeting, so I'm really not told up on this. Is £16,000, is that what we've got to pay out this year?
Next year.
Next year, Scarborough Council for a dog warden. But we're only going to get this dog warden for...
Sorry, I'm interrupting. We're still going to get our normal hours that the borough sort of passed down to
Oh,
us.
so we did have one then before?
Well,
Yeah, it's only a couple of hours
a week or something.
Yeah.
We're still going to get those hours, and what we're buying are extra hours.
So it's costing us £16,000,
It is.
which for somebody that's only going to do 2 days is a lot of money, I think. For £16,000, I think.
There's also one cost, we're charging us £4,000 to use the vehicle.
That's not his wage, the whole £16,000. It's 12,000. It's part-time wage.
Councillor Ashby?
My views are well known, I'm totally against it. I don't think it measures success, I don't think it will have any success. It's a lot of money. I can see the reason for going for the second option now. Because he will be employed, he'd be better trained, I would have thought, with him being employed by Scarborough anyway. It just needs a lot of public involvement. It's going to have to be well publicised. But I say I think it's a waste of money, but it's been voted through, so you know.
Councillor Chapman?
Gone now.
Do you want to think?
Are we still going to... I don't mind this, I think it's a good thing. But my worry is that you just said we didn't really have much of a one this last time. So what makes this, are we definitely going to get him, or is it that the borough's going to get most of him? Sorry, we can't give him because he's over at Eastfield.
The second amendment that might be like that, but the first one would definitely be here all the time,
That's what I'm saying,
and you
as long
can
as
hand
it's-
out fines on the spot.
Right,
But the second one, which isn't,
and
in
then,
my
right,
opinion,
then I go for that one.
the first one.
First one then. Thank you.
Councillor Shackleton?
I've said an awful lot on this dog warden matter, so I'm going to be quite brave. I'd go for the second option because I think it safeguards this council in some respect, because it means we can just walk away as and when. So my view is a second option.
Right, proposals. First option,
I propose the first option,
which was?
which was yours. We've already passed it, so I don't need to do it, do I? No. It's Kevin that's
So
proposing.
what is this, right,
Well, we have to
what's the
rescind.
procedure that we have to go through then?
We're not changing the resolution in terms of we're going to have a dog warden.
So we're just deciding which version of it.
Which method of payment and the makeup of
Right,
the employment.
Okay. So it's the terms of referencing it and everything else. So, well, I've already proposed the second.
Second of what, second one? Right, amendments.
Would that be us then?
No,
But-
you can't amend
No,
that.
because
Oh, yeah,
yours
last time,
is there already, isn't it?
Right.
This
yeah,
one-
I thought we
Yeah,
had to
yeah.
rescind, but we have this last one.
Right, option one has already been taken. And go for option two now, which is an amendment to original.
It's not an
It's not an
amendment.
amendment.
Oh, right,
It's
option
not
two.
an amendment, Chair, it's voting on this,
It's voted,
this way.
it's just voting on the method of the logistics behind it, that's all.
Yeah.
So you voted on the email that you got, and the way it's going to be introduced. So,
Yes, we are all happy with that. So we're just voting on whether we take this version in the email or
Yeah.
that's the only thing we're voting on, isn't it? 'Cause we've already got something already that's there.
We're not moving away from the fact that the number of hours that we are proposing to have, that's being resolved. All we're resolving is the method of payment and the method of employing the person,
Yeah.
in order to give us a greater security of person because they'll be employed on a permanent basis, and if we decide potentially that the project may not be successful, which is again something in the email that Scarborough Council do point out that potentially it may not be successful, that we have an opportunity to reduce that if we feel that it's the right thing to do.
Is there a possibility then, if we go with, I thought this was already sorted, but I understand what you're saying about seeing if we want to now, this email's come in, so now we've got an option to debate on this email, but
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, and you sound very pro this email. I'm saying, can you not give these other members in this room some advice about the original one? Because if the man or woman doesn't like it after a year, and they leave, and it's no good, can we opt into that scheme? Can the money go back into the pot? You know, it's not just this one email that's got to change it all, surely.
Councillor Shackleton.
Yeah, I think the original vote that this council took was whether or not to spend £16,000 on the dog warden. I don't think there are any mention of terms of employment or anything. So we're not voting against anything, and we're certainly not voting against having the dog warden. Because we did only vote to spend 16,000 on the dog warden.
Councillor Anthony.
I think when you vote for the amendment, you've got to believe that you voted for the same hours, and I don't believe you will be voting for the
It's
same
not an
hours.
amendment,
It's not an amendment.
Marilyn.
It's quite confusing.
It's
It's not
accepted.
quite clear.
Well, I would like to see what we voted on
Accepting
last
the
time.
email that in terms of being an alternative method of payment and an alternative method of recruiting the person. And this is purely a recommendation from SPC in terms of their experience in recruiting people on a short-term contract basis, that if you only recruit them for 12 months, after 6 months, they're most likely going to find another job and walk away.
I don't know how you can say that. I don't know how you can sit there and say that.
I'm not
How can you
saying
say
it's me,
somebody's
I'm
gonna walk
saying
away from a
this
job
is
after a year?
the information I'm getting from SPC.
This method safeguards that,
And this method safeguards us.
because he's employed.
He's employed on a permanent basis, or they're employed on a permanent basis.
Oh, I would like to see the first what we actually agreed on, because I do agree that if we go with this second one, how are we sure we're going to get, if it's up to this, whoever takes the job on, the ad hoc hours that you're saying that they would have to do some,
It's not though, is it? We say what we want, that's the whole point.
we've already said, okay.
tell them what hours we want.
Right.
We tell them what hours we want, which is the same as what we said before.
So
As it said on the first point here, yes, coverage would remain the same with any charge coverage being in addition to the usual present in filing.
Yeah, I'll just go back to what I just said. This is his terms now of employment. The original vote was to spend 16,000 for the 12, is it 12 hours?
12.
For the 12 hours?
No, for the 18 and a half hours.
For 18 and a half hours. Yeah, that was what the initial vote was.
Councillor Wilkins.
Yeah, I agree that the initial vote was to say that we wanted to go ahead with the dog warrant. Since then, the clerk has been emailing Harry backwards and forwards about the terms and how it should go in practice. This is another idea that Harry's come back with for us to decide whether we want to go with this or just go down the 12 and 1 year. And then that's it.
They are basically accepting terms of employment.
I think if my memory serves me right, and please excuse me if I'm wrong, but I thought that was sort of pro rata, the resolution, the first resolution, was to employ a dog warden for the cost of £16,000 and for the clerk to discuss with SBC the details of the contract.
And this is what...
This is effectively what's happened, is that this is what they've come back with following discussions.
But through you, Chair, I will say, I don't necessarily agree with Harry and his sort of, though it's not going to work already, because it's up to us to make it work, isn't it? You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's down to us to make it work or not. So, yeah, I don't necessarily agree with Harry's sentiments that way. I'm not sure whether it will or it won't, but it's up to us to do that. So, but my proposal is still there that we take this offer and the way that it works.
Like I said, you proposed it, I second it. The original is still there, dog warden and the £16,000. So, do you want to come in?
Yes, I just want to add that this is the only proposal we've got anyway. This is the only...
Well, I'm putting it forward and then, this is the only proposal, and then, after you've got a seconder, from that point, provided we're keeping the dog warden, and we're still sticking to the £16,000, we can have an amendment to it.
No. Well, you can amend that, there can be an amendment to that proposal, if required.
So I've made a proposal that we go with this.
Well, we've got a second.
I already seconded it.
Right. All in favour? Against? So that's 3 abstaining? 1 abstaining?
No, I'm not abstaining.
No.
No, because that was saying anybody abstaining.
1 abstaining. So that's 3 apiece. So casting vote comes to me. And I go along with what is in the email.
Can I just say, Chair, that if this was thrown out this evening, what that would mean, we'd have to go back to Harry Briggs for him to review the terms of employment yet again.
But the voting is 4-3. 4.
I'm just wondering if members understand
Well, it doesn't matter now.
what these terms of employment mean.
Yes, I understand what
Yeah.
terms of employment mean, thank you. Do you?
Yes, not quite sure what
Because we didn't have any terms of employment, and this is voting on terms of employment only, it's nothing to do about the 16,000 or whether we should have the dog warden or not. We just agreeing his terms of employment.
I know, but the original terms of employment was that he was just here. He was here for half of the time.
Well, that is not going to happen under these terms of employment.
Why not?
Well, it doesn't matter now, you voted it and it wouldn't be doing that, so...
No, but if we've 16 hours, surely we're going to get that over 16 hours.
Well, I hope you're right. I I truly do.
Well, it's up to us to make sure that we do that. That's
But we would
what-
have to make sure if we went with the first one, because they would be here anyway, there'd be no making sure.
There wouldn't be, you wouldn't know whether they're here or not.
I thought they had to sign in here.
How can they at 6 in the morning if you're expecting them to work early morning, late evening, etc., etc.?
We would know if we were here.
You wouldn't know, you don't know now whether they're here or not.
Well, it's done now, it's just they're not mainly.
If they're told to go to the junior school, you wouldn't know whether they're at the junior school or not.
No, but somebody would. You know, you can't do anything in fine without being spotted. Should know that by now.
Yes, I keep losing the push back.